What's up? So a couple of years ago, the original PAX was born, and now they came out with the PAX 2. So if you're not familiar at all with this one, the PAX is a very popular portable herbal vaporizer. Is the new version better? Yes. But by how much really depends on what qualities you value most in your vape. The PAX 2 is smaller, lighter, sleeker, because it has a polished aluminum outer shell, so it looks and feels a little more elegant. So a big difference I noticed right when I opened the box was that the new PAX, the PAX 2, uses a different type of mouthpiece at the top. They no longer use the retractable mouthpiece like the original model had. They now just use some like silicone rubber inserts that kind of just fit into the top, like you push them into place. So there's no more mechanical parts up here to lubricate or to clean, because this was an area with the original one that, is common for people to have issues with. The biggest difference, I guess, is the default way to use the PAX 2 is with this like flat mouthpiece. Your lips are half on the top on the mouthpiece and then half on the actual vape itself, like on the outside. So it's a little weird. They do include a second mouthpiece also that more closely resembles the original one, or at least how the original one looked, but not the way it functioned. There are two types of PAX users: those who sip and those who rip. If you're a sipper, you typically take short 2 to 3 second draws. And this vape will work pretty well. I think a little better than the original. You'll get a pretty decent amount of vapor from a short draw like that. For someone like me, it's not extremely satisfying. Like, it's not quite enough sometimes for me. In the beginning of the session, it tends to be more vapor, and then, later on, I find myself needing to take longer draws to keep vapor production up. But if you do take a long draw, 10 seconds plus, you can get quite a bit of vapor from it. Now, draw resistance is a pretty interesting subject with this one. The original one, it's kind of hard to pull from. A lot of people don't like it for that reason. Things that can affect resistance, though, are how clean your vape is, how tight your screen is pressed in, or how far down it's pressed in. So this is a conduction vape, which means it almost kind of needs a little draw resistance. Like, the airflow can't be too fast, or else it won't have enough time to like effectively vape your material. What I found is this, after, a good amount of testing and use: when you first clean it and the oven is all fresh and the vapor path is cleaned out, you can take a nice pull. There's not a lot of resistance, feels good, feels natural. But after maybe just a couple of sessions, maybe 2-3 sessions, I start to notice that the resistance is a little higher. And what I found this is due to is the oven screen getting a little bit of residue built up around the edges, because the edges of the screen is where the airflow normally is, like into the vapor path. So I say screen because it's really just like a flat metal plate. The airflow doesn't go through it, it goes around it. So when a little bit of residue builds up in there, and then it hardens, like after the vape cools off and stuff, in between sessions, you end up with this issue where the airflow is kind of restricted through the screen a little bit, which then affects what it feels like when you're pulling from it. So what I'm trying to get at here is that I have found myself popping out the oven screen every few sessions, and then just taking a few seconds to take one of my picks or vape tools to, scrape out any hardened residue on the inside of the oven that may be blocking airflow through that screen. And I normally do this by just taking my pick and sticking it through the top of the vapor path, and then it just pops out the screen. You could also use like a pipe cleaner thing, but if you use that, you should dampen it with the isopropyl alcohol first, that they do include, which is cool. And I don't really find that you need to clean it with the ISO every time, like every few sessions. All I do every few sessions is, lightly like scrape the chamber a little bit if there's anything built up in there. And then if I put the screen back in, it works fine. But after about a dozen sessions or so, You are going to want to give it a more thorough cleaning and use some of the iso alcohol on some cotton swabs and on the pipe cleaners to thoroughly clean out the oven and vapor path. The top piece, or the mouthpiece area, is very easy to clean, which is great with the new one. You just quickly wipe off the little groove with a cotton swab. So in summary, as they say in the manual, a clean PAX is a happy PAX. The oven or herb chamber has a capacity of roughly 0.3, maybe a tiny bit more. You are going to want to grind very fine with this vape. And when you pack it, it will work best when you pack it full, and definitely tamp it down so your material is pretty tight in the oven. So from a full packing, you can expect somewhere around 15 nice draws. If you take baby draws, you'll get a bunch, but if you take pretty long ones, that's probably the maximum number. Now the vapor quality is nice. It has a nice flavor, definitely improved from the original. You know, like the original though, the flavor is the best for like the first half of your session. The second half, there's not going to be that much flavor left, but the vapor is still good. It's a good quality. It's smooth. Haven't noticed the vapor in this one being harsh. Overall, I'm happy with the performance. It's really a one-person vape though. You can share it with someone, but then it's going to be a pretty light session for each person. I know some people are going to be interested in turning the vape off after a few draws and starting it up again later. Now you can use the vape like this. It will absolutely work. In my opinion, the experience isn't going to be ideal because I do feel that it performs and works best when you vape it all in one shot. Because when you let it cool down and let it heat up again, you lose a little bit of efficiency. You also lose some of the flavor. The, second or third sessions, or however many you do, are typically not going to be as high quality as the first one. Charging and battery life has also changed with the new one. With the original one, it was an hour to fully charge, and then you get an hour of usage from that. With the new PAX 2, you have to charge it for close to 3 hours, and then you get 90 minutes of usage from that. So you get the longer battery life in a smaller vape, which is impressive. But I kind of liked how the original one charged in just an hour. I thought that was really cool. They also changed it from a charging dock with the original one to now a magnetic charger that sticks to the back of the vape. The warranty is great. They give you a 10-year warranty. And you would think, oh, who's going to even have a vape for 10 years? But yeah, whatever. Maybe it's a marketing thing. But they do have excellent service. And they have very fast turnaround on repairs, stuff like that. So, in my opinion, you can feel absolutely safe buying a PAX. So overall, is it worth the price? I think so. But I do think they're cutting it a little close.